Thank you for choosing to be a part of this week as we celebrate State. This week, you will receive a new email from us each morning with a new video highlighting our spectacular university. You will also find deals in our online member store, special discounts on membership to the Alumni Association, and additional ways to help support our work as we showcase how Iowa State University and Cyclones Everywhere are making communities, Iowa, and the world a better place.
The Fountain of the Four Seasons is Iowa State's most iconic work of art. It is recognized by everyone. We all have had our photographs taken there at multiple times in our life. This is like standing before the Eiffel Tower. When people see the Fountain of the Four Seasons with the campanile, you know where you are in the world. And if you're an Iowa Stater, you especially know. Christian Petersen came to the Midwest, to Chicago in about 1929 to really began his career as a fine art sculptor. Shortly thereafter, he was invited by President Raymond Hughes of Iowa State and Grant Wood, who headed up the Public Works of Art Project Studio in Iowa City, to come to Iowa to create public art. In 1934, he became the nation's first permanent artist in residence at any college or university. Fast forward from 10 years and doing about 7 or 8 major public works of art, Dr. Friley, the president at the time, wanted Petersen to do a public work of art for the Memorial Union. There was an existing pool and fountain there. And young men at Iowa State were sometimes mischievous, and they would throw soap suds into the fountain, which had the sprays of water coming in, and make it a big bubble bath. And Dr. Friley was annoyed with that, and so he said, "Petersen, create a work of art for this." So Petersen did. Petersen spent 2 or 3 summers living with the Meskwaki, and his second model, his second idea for the Fountain of the Four Seasons were Indian maidens, and this related to agriculture, agriculture being the founding discipline for civilized world. So these maidens are the first agriculturalists of Iowa, and they chose corn. And so the Four Seasons is actually the planting, the growing, the harvesting, and then the feeding of people with the corn product. Petersen then went about carving the maidens in limestone, along with a terracotta fountain head, and then that was installed in about 1941-42, and it was really a reference back to agriculture, the beginnings of the university, the beginnings of the state of Iowa, and our agricultural heritage, as well as going into the future. Iowa State has invested in this iconic work of art in terms of its care and maintenance. There's one thing to acquire a work of art, to commission it and have it done, but to maintain it over time takes resources and attention. And about 5 years ago, we did more inspections and had engineers assist us. We knew that the pool basin was going to fail. It was slipping and it was eroding. The maidens are 80 years old, water, weather had eroded the detail. So the maidens used to have very detailed braids and fringe. Much of that was gone and lost. We started the planning for replacement of the pool, and then we are having the maidens replicated at a studio in Vermont. And we have a conservator. Francis Miller has been conserving Petersen works of art for the last 30 years on campus. Thankfully, we had the original plasters. We also have the original limestones. The conservator and the sculptor can use those as models, and with calipers and other tools make an exact replica, if you will.
I personally visited probably about 9 quarries looking for stone. The challenge was finding a block that was large enough to get all 4 sculptures from. That kind of met that criteria of being fairly tight grained, a really nice color, and uniform overall.
What we're going to do is a fresh version of this. So we're not trying to reproduce every nick and worn area. We just want to capture the feel of these and the look of them as exactly as possible.
There's visible textures. We can see pretty clearly what chisels were used to finish some parts of it, but the nitty-gritty stuff is pretty well eroded. So not only are the new ones going to be more detailed, they're also going to be brighter because it's fresh stone. So the color we matched as well as we could with that in mind. I think we take particular pride in doing this how it would have been done historically. So we're not really using any new technology for this. This is all pretty old school. I mean, the pointing machine itself is the same age as the sculpture. So I take pride in being one of the few crews that would be doing that.
A lot of maintenance costs were put into the fountain over the years, mechanical renovations, and it just got to the point like a used car. At some point you have to say enough is enough, and we just have to start fresh. The intent is to bring it back to its original state, the original intent. Everything's gonna be bright, newly painted, and the color of the basin might take a few people by surprise because it's kind of a darker green now versus the aqua blue. But this is going back to the original intent. All of the limestone around the perimeter of it has been replaced also. So it's all brand new. It's just gonna be a very bright, fresh look.
I don't view that this replication process is removal or getting rid of Christian Petersen's Fountain of the Four Seasons. It's a method of preserving. It's a great work of art. Not all of them are as significant and important or as profound as the Fountain of the Four Seasons and as meaningful. So why do we do this? It's because it adds not only beauty, but intellectual contact, emotional contact. It binds us together, sometimes like nothing else can. And we do it for student engagement. And most Iowa Staters respond to the Fountain of the Four Seasons for those emotional reasons, because it means it's Iowa State.